What's up, everybody? We are live. It is Tuesday, and you know what time it is. When you see my face pop up on your screen on a Tuesday at this time, you know that it's time for another episode of The Life of an Entrepreneur. I'm excited for our guest today. Now, I don't normally do this, but let me just share a tagline from our guest today. I would say it later on, but check this out. Our guest today, right? And this is I'm kind of saying it my way, but he's going to say exactly what it is. My guest today gives stress the karate chop. Now, if that doesn't hook you in to be like, wait a minute, who is that? And what? The karate chop? Yes, you need to get out your pen and paper if that's how you take notes. You need to get out your electronic device if that's how you take notes. And you need to prepare yourself for this, what will turn out to be a phenomenal episode of The Life of an Entrepreneur. We tell you all the time, the life of an entrepreneur is a journey. We want you to enjoy the journey. And one way to enjoy the journey is to hear from other people who are on the journey. So buckle up, get ready, and let's get into this episode of The Life of an Entrepreneur. Let's go. What's up, everybody? What's happening? How are you doing today? We hope that your day is phenomenal so far. This is The Life of an Entrepreneur, and I am your host, Oliver Marcel, author, speaker, and coach in the relationship building and men's enrichment spaces, with the goal being to do what's on my t-shirt. Check out my t-shirt. If you can't see what that says, it says 2020 before hindsight. And there are so many things that I learned the hard way, banging my head up against the wall, making terrible mistakes, making bad choices, hanging out with the wrong people. And the list goes on and on and on. And it is my calling to make sure that at least one person gains some level of clarity on the front end before they do something, say something, become something, hang out with someone that could throw off the trajectory of their lives. That is my life's goal. Do that in a number of ways. Author of the book, Overcoming the Man Laws. Let me show it to you real quick. Author of the book Overcoming the Man Laws, for the man who wants to be his best despite what he was taught. And here's how I would love for you to support me. This t-shirt is mine. It's not just a cool t-shirt that I decided to use for my purposes. It's actually my t-shirt. So wherever you're watching this right now, you will see in the description a link for you to be able to grab that t-shirt. That would be phenomenal. I would be so grateful if you would do that. Listen, this show, The Life of an Entrepreneur, is sponsored by Love Entrepreneurs. If you don't know what that is by now, you should if you follow us from week to week. If this is your first week, first of all, let me say welcome to you. Second of all, you got to go back and watch all those other episodes. But this is sponsored by Love Entrepreneurs. Love Entrepreneurs is a fellowship of business owners and entrepreneurs. And the sole goal is to help ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. They do that in a number of ways, their signature dish being something called the Big Fix. We're going to talk about the Big Fix a little later on as we talk to our guest. All right. Listen, I'm excited to get to our guest today. And you know how I do. I always have a little something that I want to share in the beginning before we bring our guest on. And here it is. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. You need to learn how to celebrate the wins of others. Let me repeat that. You need to learn how to celebrate the wins of others. The beautiful thing about this network that we're in, or this fellowship that we're in called Love Entrepreneurs, is that every day we're being introduced to new people, new entrepreneurs, new people in various industries that are moving the needle in their various industries. And as a result of these meetings come collaborations, come partnerships, come opportunities. and we see doors opening for people. And as we see those doors opening, we celebrate. You know why we celebrate? Because we know that a door is coming our way as well. And sometimes what happens in this entrepreneurial space is that we get caught up in this comparison game. And this comparison game makes us bitter when we see other people thriving and we think we should be thriving as well. Listen, your time is coming, my friend. Doors open all over the place. Collaborations happen every day. Partnerships are formed every moment. Opportunities come at every avenue. So, what you need to do is be ready and make sure that you are ready for when those things come, because you're going to want some folk to celebrate you. So in the meantime, while you are putting things together, while you are building and you see other people thriving and you see doors opening in other areas, make sure that you are celebrating those folks, because your time is coming and then we're going to celebrate you. All right. So learn how to celebrate the wins of others. That's it. That's my 2 cents for today. Listen, we got a great guy coming on. Raj Soren is my guest today. Listen, giving stress the karate chop. I'm going to allow him to really introduce himself. But man, I am looking forward to this conversation. So, without further ado, we're going to bring on Raj Soren. Listen, if you're watching right now or you're watching the replay, make yourself known in the comments. If you're watching the replay, put replay in the comments. If you're watching now, shout yourself out. Let us know where you're watching from and let us know you're excited for this episode today. We're bringing on Raj right now in 3, 2, 1. Raj, how you doing, my friend?
Fantastic, Oliver. How are you?
I am well, man. Thank you so much for taking this time out. It's an honor to have you as my guest today. Looking forward to this conversation, man. This is awesome, 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 awesome.
Uh, I'm excited as well to be with you. And it's always a pleasure to share thoughts about entrepreneurship, managing stress, and giving stress a karate chop.
Man, if that isn't the greatest line ever, brother. We're gonna talk about how we got there. But first, introduce yourself to the people, let them know who you are and how you serve the world.
Indeed. Well, I am based in the UK and I've been here for a long time in terms of serving others. And what I mean by serving others, my background is I'm a coach in life coaching as well as a business coach. And I specialize in stress management for business owners, because everyone's got a challenge they face when they're in business or in their personal lives. And I help give that a karate chop from my experience as a martial artist for over 40 years in Japanese Jiu-Jitsu and Aikido, and I also do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. But I was involved in the corporate world for 35 years and had its ups and downs. But I was made redundant 4 times in that time period. And so that is a story in itself. And as part of going through leading teams and looking after a 25 million turnover, and I'm finding that one day when I was busy at work, I actually thought I was having a heart attack. Palpitations, hot sweats, the challenges of feeling dizzy, and I was rushed to hospital. And the doctor said, "You got high cholesterol. It isn't a heart attack, but it is stress, extreme stress." I had to change, it stopped me in my tracks. I was thinking, how many other people are going through burnout and stress throughout the world? And what are they doing about it? So I started interviewing people from all around the world, from doctors to entrepreneurs to people in the army, teachers, and they all had a story to tell. And with a psychologist in place, I started writing stories. That led to a book called Coping with Stress and Adversity, Inspirational Stories. There's over 50 stories in there of real life people and how they overcome the challenges of day-to-day stress, because it can be a killer. I know because I've been there.
Wow, that's incredible. And we're going to talk about where we can get this book. Now, listen, folk, that's not his only book. Now, this is a 4-time author with some great material. We're going to talk about how we get there and how we can get that in a little bit. Tony's in the house. What's up, Tony? Shout out to Tony in the house. Always a great episode. Great stuff. Welcome, Raj. And thank you, Oliver, for this opportunity. Thank you, Tony, for being here and jumping into the comments. Anybody else who's watching, please jump into the comments so we can shout you out as well. So, Raj, you started talking about your story. and being in the corporate space for a number of years, 35 years, having this moment that you thought you were having a heart attack.
Absolutely.
Now, talk a little bit about just the day-to-day environment of the corporate space that you were in, that did anything around that day-to-day environment contribute to that? Was there a certain routine, or were you going, 30 hours, 20 hours a day? Like, what was happening that kind of led you to that space where you recognize, whoa, this is not a good look?
Great question. Now, in most corporate worlds, you're in demand for your time, your intellect, and time with people. And a lot of people enjoy it, and I enjoyed my time in that corporate environment. At the same time, you're burning the candle at both ends, trying to
Mm,
provide service to individuals who sometimes don't always appreciate you. And you're
mm,
managing people, some great people, some challenging people, and you've got targets to meet. 25 million is a reasonable target to reach each year.
mhm,
So there's the pressures of that. On top of that, you've got your personal life. And I have a family of 3 grown-up children, a wonderful wife, Josie, and them. And you may be traveling a lot, doing lots of miles on the motorway, thinking about all those challenges. I'm also running in martial art clubs. So I was doing 3 different things. So that they culminate in being stretched. And I was thinking, I've got broad shoulders, I can cope with all this. But bit by bit, you're not able to sleep. You're not able to function and focus. And this starts eating at your ability to perform.
mm.
And inside, people say, "Oh, I don't really suffer stress." Your body takes on that stress, and it affects your immune system, and it affects your function, ability to breathe properly, and to able to put it this way: if you don't get enough sleep, you realize that you can lose up to 10% of your IQ.
Wow.
Absolutely. 10%
Wow.
of your IQ. I haven't got a massive IQ, and I can't afford to lose much more.
I hear you.
Yeah, you can actually gain some of that back if you get quality sleep. So these are
Mm,
some of the things that we need to be looking at. On top of
wow.
this, the culmination of things happened working in that environment is that over lockdown, obviously COVID happened,
Mhm,
and I had a particularly tough time with COVID. My daughter, my wife had COVID. And within 2 weeks, they're sort of on the way to recovery.
mm,
6 weeks into COVID, I was still suffering, still
mm.
struggling to breathe. And it took me, 6 months to 12 months to get back on my feet. Each day
Wow.
of thinking I was dying. Another situation in my life that stopped me in my tracks. I've got a garden, and it took me half an hour to walk around that garden. I'm an active martial artist, and I couldn't train because of my ability to breathe and interact. And I was losing strength, losing confidence, and that is due to stress on the body, and
Mhm,
probably stresses of the immune system not being able to cope over time. It's just this slow attrition on your body and your mind, and
mhm.
you're losing your confidence.
Wow.
And the challenges over COVID as well. Lots of people have challenges they face. We've faced a particularly challenging situation in our family, and everyone has youngsters or young adults growing up. Fortunately, my daughter had struggled going through university,
Mhm,
and she was getting quite annoyed and stressed out, and situation where felt like maybe some self-harming going on, and even trying to jump out the window. And we had to get help from doctors and psychiatrists. And unfortunately, she was diagnosed as having psychosis, which racing thoughts and lots of different things going on in her head.
mhm,
Now the challenge is that she had to go to hospital for 5 months,
mhm,
and that was heartbreaking for her, for the family, and all
mhm,
around us.
mhm.
And how many other people are going through that in life, where they're having to face some mental health challenges, mental fitness or mental well-being. The great news is she's back at university. She's doing fantastically well. She's got
Awesome.
running her own business as well. So we're really proud of her.
Awesome.
Uh, Everyone's facing these challenges, and
Yeah.
this stress builds up over time. All these different incidents I'm talking about, the suspected heart attack, stresses on the COVID, losing jobs and redundancy 4 times in my lifetime alone, and dealing with finances, all these different things, and mental health within the family. So imagine that. This is why it's calling to me. This I'm passionate about coaching people through these mental health challenges, through business, with a black belt attitude. Hence my martial
Man,
art background.
that's incredible, man. And your story, man, is just incredible because just all that you've had to endure and all that you've experienced. Um, Sometimes for some people, that level of activity that you've had to navigate through sometimes causes people to just curl up and say, listen, man, forget about it. I'm just going to let it all wash over me. And you've taken it and you have parlayed that into, you've discovered a passion through all of that, through what you experienced, through what your daughter experienced, uh, through what the family has experienced. Man, I think it's phenomenal. Often we find that passion is birthed out of some level of pain, and and your story is a glowing example of that. I want to ask you on a more personal level, having a family, going through what you went through with your job. You talked about finances. You talked about your daughter. What what did you do on a personal level in terms of your family to begin to navigate that in a way that would keep you all together?
That's an amazingly important question. When you're faced with adversity and challenges like that, it can break a family.
Hmm.
And the good thing is that it brought us all together.
Hmm.
Individuals within the family make sure that we're supporting each other because we're all going through it. We're all trying to do the best we can to support my daughter. And any challenges that we're faced with supporting each other in a WhatsApp group, talking, meeting face to face. Individuals that weren't around as much in the past all of a sudden came out of the blue, and people they're willing. If you're open about it and willing to share, people know that you're only human.
Yeah.
It did break us. We had to pick ourselves up every day. Lots of tears, lots of anguish, lots of nights of no sleep. Bouts of depression, those type of things going on in people and within the family, and myself. The thing is that you have to reach out. You have to, meet with the family, talk openly. Have the tears that you need to do, and that makes a person. That's made our family, and I'm sure it makes other families when they're faced with adversity. It's a crisis.
Hmm.
And in Japanese or Chinese, they say that a crisis is an opportunity.
Mm. Hmm.
Most great things come out of crisis. Yeah,
Wow.
the ability to bounce back and grow stronger. It's an
Wow.
example of the martial arts is the big thing for me.
Hmm.
If you know the story about the Japanese sword, the samurai sword, the katana, it's one of the strongest metal cutting items on the planet. And you have to put it through the heat. You get a slab of steel, and you bang it, and you turn it over, and you fold it, and you put it back in the heat, and you fold it, and you keep folding it, and you keep the pressure on. And that's what's happening to a human being.
Hmm.
You're being thrown around, you're being knocked, and you're thrown into the fire in the frying pan.
Yeah.
And this is what happens with the Japanese samurai sword. You'll find that the best ones have got about 20 different layers, and it cuts through just about anything.
Mm.
And we have to sharpen our swords in our own personal lives, but we don't do it by having a sword that just stays in its cupboard. We go out
Mm.
there. We are the sword. We become stronger because of adversity. If you
Wow.
have a sailing boat that stays on the dock, it doesn't
Hmm.
last very long. A sailing boat or ship that goes out on a regular basis and is looked after faces adversity. So we could be seen to be those type of like a sailing boat or like a samurai sword.
Hmm.
It's the same story about diamond. A diamond has to be put under pressure.
Yeah.
It's a piece of coal that's set under pressure over millions of years. It becomes strong. And I totally believe that it's our attitude and our mindset, or the black belt
Hmm.
mindset, that will help us go through that adversity and shape your character, shape your ability to help others. This is about passing things on.
Yeah.
I mean, totally on board with what you're saying. Celebrate the wins of others.
Hmm. And you're talking about perspective, and Tony, shout out to Tony. Sorry, Tony said sorry to hear about the challenges, but you're strong and keep it up. Well done on dealing with them. You're talking about perspective, man. You're saying that adversity helps create strength, and in every crisis is an opportunity. That's a you said the word mindset. That is a perspective shift that all of us need to adopt, right? Because often it's very easy as human beings, it's very easy to incur a challenge and get caught up in the negativity of the challenge as opposed to looking for the opportunity in that. And that is a phenomenal listen. Those of you who are watching now or watching the replay, if you don't get anything else out of this conversation, which I know you will get way more than this, but let's say you don't get anything else, you have to begin to work on your mindset and your perspective because these challenges will come. It may not be the same challenges that Raj experienced or that I experienced, but challenges will come. And you have to be in a frame of mind that allows you now to see opportunity in those challenges and allow those challenges to actually develop strength in you. Raj, that's great, man. That is good stuff. That's good stuff. Listen, let's talk about what you're doing now. So you've gone through these things in life. They have helped to identify this passion in you, and now this is what you are doing, helping individuals, giving stress the karate chop. How are you now working with individuals to help them recognize, identify, and manage this stress?
That's a wonderful question. I think it's about people and understanding their world, because everyone's faced different challenges. There's no simple solution to coping with stress, and hence I've written that book. Everyone has a journey, a different story, because some people will see the same experience but become very stressful, and somebody else will say, you know what, that doesn't stress me out. I love that type of thing.
Mhm.
People love skydiving. Some people like doing martial arts. Some people like doing a variety of different things. So I help individuals by finding what the triggers are and the association with those triggers. So it's like recognizing a beast that comes to your house. How do you recognize that beast? That beast being stress. You know, what time of day does that beast come to you? It could be
Mm.
stressed at work in the morning, or is it because when you meet somebody you become stressed? That person, you get these energy vampires. You understand what I mean, Oliver?
I do. I
Yeah.
do. Yep.
Some people you want to spend time with, other people you want to run a mile.
Hmm.
So, so it's important that you understand that beast of a stress that's coming your way
Hmm.
and how you manage it. What's the smell of this beast? You know, what's the time it wakes up? How does it impact on your health and well-being?
Hmm.
Because it can affect your mental health as well as your emotional health.
Right.
What I mean by mental health is that it can affect your memory and concentration. Your confidence can be knocked, so you can't make the decisions you want. You get racing thoughts, and that has a major difference. I'm going to talk about something really important in just a moment. And then you can have the emotional side of things, the
Hmm.
irritation and the anger. You're feeling very numb or drained and overwhelmed. That's a sign of stress. And something called a broken heart. Have you heard of a broken heart when people,
Yep.
yeah?
Hmm.
Well, there's actually a lot of science behind this. And a broken heart is when you go through extreme stress on a regular basis. And in the medical term, it's called taxubo cardiomyopathy. Now, for the layman, everyone's got a heart and it pumps nicely. But if the heart changes shape into what's called taxubo, and taxubo is a clay pot in Japan. And when they go and fish for octopus, they use this clay pot, and it's a certain shape. Now, when your heart is stressed, it becomes the shape of this pot, and it affects how you function, how your heart functions, and
Mm.
it has a major impact on your health and well-being. So what happens around you, the thoughts and emotions and feelings and the stresses change the shape of your heart. And that's why some people say they died of heartache,
Died of a
broken heart.
broken heart. Yeah.
You
Wow.
can reverse that by coping strategies. and having a different mindset, it's black belt mindset. You have to jujitsu your way out of these situations.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, because in martial arts terms, you put it under pressure. Someone may try to put an arm lock on you, or punch you, or try to choke you, and that is life. Life out there in business and personal life. Someone is always out there that's going to affect your behavior, your challenges, and how you tackle that. How you use that black belt mindset, whatever mindset you want to use to overcome those challenges. And once you've got a plan in place, you've got to be committed. We need to figure out ways to do that. For example, how do we look after our mind? Our mind is always racing. We're on
Mm-hmm.
social media too often.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
When do we silence the mind and just become human beings rather than human doings? So mindfulness exercises is really important. Enjoying our food and actually enjoying the taste of it, and not putting more than just one spoonful in your mouth. We're usually rushing.
Mm-hmm.
We're usually watching television. We're doing all these other things. Take a mindful walk more often. I call this something called the MEDS, MEDS.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't stand for medicines. M stands for mindfulness,
Okay.
giving more mindful space for ourselves. E stands for exercise. You don't have to do martial arts like me 6 or 7 times a week. Get exercise that you enjoy doing. Have fun when you're doing it as well, because
Yeah.
everyone thinks you have to go out there and climb mountains and do all
Right.
triathlons. And D is for diet. It's important that we look after our diet. There's lots of great foods out there, and there's foods that we should be avoiding, especially
Mm-hmm.
those in too many carbohydrates, or having too much meat, or having too much sugars in our lifestyle isn't helping us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for sleep. I said
That's
it's
for
so
sleep.
important. Our body has to regenerate, and having quality sleep is important. And some people say, "Oh, I don't need any sleep." All our body needs sleep. And then we said, "We don't want to lose that 10%. Do you want to lose that 10% IQ if you don't get enough sleep, Oliver?"
Not at all. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I need all the IQ I can get.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome. Listen, if you are taking notes, and you listen, you got to get your meds in. You got to get your mindfulness exercises in. You got to be intentional around mindfulness. You have to be intentional around exercise. Got to get some activity in. You have to be intentional around your diet. You have to be intentional around your diet, because you've heard the phrase, you are what you eat. So you got to be intentional around that. And you got to be intentional around getting the right amount of sleep. Man, that's a powerful statistic that you shared earlier, that you can lose 10% of your IQ by not getting enough sleep. Listen, if you're like me, that's alarming, because I need all the percentage. So let's make sure that we're sleeping. Listen, I want to transition in to talking about the big fix, but I want to ask you this before we transition. What can a client expect when they come to you? So I've recognized now, hey, listen, something is going on. The warning signs that Raj talked about, I'm seeing them all around me and in my life. And I'm now making a commitment. I got to go work with this guy. What can your clients expect from you as they go through this process?
Well, what clients are going to expect from me is honest, open conversation. And I'll empathize with you. I'll support you. I'll be your best friend on this journey. I want 110% effort from you. That's accountability, because whatever stresses in your life have got you to where you are now. If you use the same mindset after our coaching that you came in with, then nothing's going to change.
Mhm.
You have to take account of that journey, those thoughts, those actions and behaviors
Mhm.
have to change in some way.
Yep.
And once we know that you are prepared to have this black belt mindset to change for you, for your family, and those around you, because if you don't change those behaviors, you may not have another year back on this planet. It can be that impactful. We could lose
Wow.
that,
Wow.
you know, If I didn't change, I don't know if I'd still be here.
Wow. That's a
So
powerful
that's
statement.
that important. Stress
Yeah.
is that important, especially business owners. I mean, some of the top stresses for business owners and entrepreneurs is, for example, 42% is staff, dealing with staff.
Hmm.
People are best resources, but they can be the biggest headache as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
Administration, having to deal with all the 33%. Being responsible for the success of your business, that's a big pressure on people's back. You have to bring the money in for you and your family. And for employees, dealing with overheads, even dealing with clients can be a headache. Some 23% is impactful. And those dealing with tax and time and multitasking, they're all the challenges you're going to be facing, not in just your personal life, but in your business life.
Hmm.
So in order for you to perform the best, that's what I do. I do an audit on individuals and in organizations I work with. How are you tackling stress? What's the culture like in that organization? Unfortunately, stresses sometimes are created because of the environment.
Hmm.
If the bosses and the senior leadership team in organizations haven't got the support system in place and they're just putting people under pressure and not able to support them and having an honest conversation, then that's going to be a challenge. You're going to have people leaving. They say the biggest reason people leave their jobs is because of their boss
Hmm. Hmm.
or the no possibility of progression and all these other challenges they faced. And the right companies are starting to do that these days. Well-being is the center of our development on mental fitness. And those companies that are doing it well are the ones that are going to be succeeding because people are looking after their health, looking after each other, and performing, outstandingly against the competition.
Hmm. Yeah, that's good. Now, let me ask you: are business owners, entrepreneurs, that sector, is that your ideal client?
Yes, I mean, those individuals, it's sort of small to medium-sized enterprises. Sometimes big companies come in. I'm talking, in fact, next week to Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. They've
Okay.
asked me to do a presentation for them webinars. I've done talks with BT as well. So let's have a conversation. Let's figure out if you are serious about changing the environment to reduce stress and increase performance for your organization.
That is awesome. And listen, we're going to share in a little while how you can get connected to Raj. You've heard what he said, and if you're like, "Hey, listen, one, I resonate with his story because he told a gripping story around what he has experienced and what he has been able to navigate, and now parlay into a program that can help you." To manage stress effectively and essentially give stress the karate chop, which I absolutely love that phrase. Like that, if you'll remember that, like you'll just remember Raj because you've probably never heard anybody say that. Giving stress the karate chop. That's an awesome thing, and we'll talk about how we can get a hold of Raj in a little bit. Um, so I wanna transition. You did a big fix. And again, this show is sponsored by Love Entrepreneurs. If you're not sure what Love Entrepreneurs is, or if you missed the beginning of this show, Love Entrepreneurs is a fellowship of business owners and entrepreneurs that where the goal is to help people build extraordinary businesses. And they do this in a number of ways. One of their signature ways is the big fix. And we're going to talk about that. Raj, we're going to talk about your experience with the big fix as well and kind of wrap back around to where we started about, stress and some indicators and some different things we'll talk about. But I want to hear about your experience with the big fix. First, we're going to do kind of a station identification type of break, if you will, where we're going to hear from my buddy Rob Howes. He's going to talk about his experience with the big fix. And then on the back end of that video, Raj, you and I will talk about it. All right. We'll be right back.
Well, my name is Rob Howes, and I just had a fantastic session, Big Fix with Love Entrepreneurs. And we did some big fixing. We found some areas to actually take a look at and open up and discover. We discovered some opportunities to bring more attention to what we're doing. And so it was a really fantastic dialogue. I'm looking forward to putting these things I learned and heard and the ideas I got putting them into practice. Because practice makes permanent. That's what I heard.
That was Rob talking about the Big Fix. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Big Fix, this is your first time hearing about it. Think mastermind, think business mastermind with someone sitting in the hot seat. And that person can be someone who just has a business idea and that's all they have and they want to move forward, to that person who's been in business for 20 years. And what you do is you get to sit in front of business owners and entrepreneurs from all walks of life, from all over the globe, from various industries, and you can share your business idea. You can share any pain points that you have. You can share any questions that you may have, any challenges you may have in your business. And the sole goal of that experience is for everybody that's in that room to pour into you ideas and suggestions and potential collaborations and systems and all of the sorts of things that will help move the needle in your business. Now, it's free. If you are a business owner or entrepreneur and you are looking for ways to move the needle in your business, you have nothing to lose by being a part of this experience. If you want to be a part of the experience, just reach out to me wherever you're watching this, or you can use the information that is on the bottom of the screen right now for you to schedule your Big Fix. Did I say it's free?
It's free.
Have you ever been exposed to a business mastermind? Have you seen the prices that are associated with business masterminds? This is free. Not only is it free, but you get a report after it's done that chronicles everything that was said, all of the suggestions that were made, and you get videos of the experience. And you can do one of two things. You can go forth and be great. We will cheer you on because we want to see you win and we want to celebrate you when you do. So you can take all of that information and you can go and implement. Or you can come back to the group and say, hey, listen, I would love your help to implement this. And there are ways that you can work with many of us by not even having to pay any money. That's a whole nother conversation. Silvertree allows Silvertree is the sister, if you will, to this organization that allows you to do business with many of these people that you meet in the Big Fix using an internal currency called Silver. And we can talk about that at another occasion. But I want to talk to you, Raj, about your experience with the Big Fix. What did you bring to the table? Because you sat in the hot seat. What did you bring to the table, and what was that experience like?
Well, the experience was amazing, and I'd recommend having a Big Fix to anybody out there. I think when I brought the ideas to the table, I had different businesses in terms of martial arts side of things, the business coaching, the stress management, the writing of books, and so I had to get all that together. And sometimes you can't see and differentiate the wood from the trees. So the individuals, the entrepreneurs like Ellery Coslett and Peter Russell, an amazing bunch of people, and the rest of the entrepreneurs there, they can see what you can't see. Mm-hmm. So they give me advice on improving my website. So I'm going to even offered it to even people like Tony Wace has offered a free website, which is amazing. Improving my SEO, because sometimes you do things on an amateur basis. So, and what message are you sending that to the world? So I'm going to be having a new website built, making sure that the message is correct, targeting my audience as well, and reaching out with my story, because they said your story is about you and how you serve the world. Yeah. The martial art background, the black belt attitude, and those type of things. And Ian Genius, I want to thank him because he's helped me on one of the courses in terms of how to sell yourself better, getting more yeses. And his course alone has helped me to gain 20 new clients in the last 6 weeks alone. So the 50% increase in one of my businesses. And his strapline was black belt business coach, giving stress the karate chop. Yeah. So I thank Ian for that, and gives me even a closer identity for the passion I have in giving stress the karate chop. So yes, I'm still on that journey. I'm still getting fantastic support from individuals out there, and I'm proud to be associated with the Love Entrepreneurs Big Fix. Get in contact. What are you waiting there for?
That's right.
You can always learn. Turn it with an empty cup rather than thinking you know it all, and be humble.
Wow. That's great advice. Wow. Turn up with an empty cup because you will be filled up. Barry Tate is in the house. Shout out to Barry Tate. Barry Tate said a free business mastermind spread over 2 or 3 sessions with experts that are all passionate to see you succeed. And that's important. A truly amazing experience only with Love Entrepreneurs. Listen, here's what I love about this is that we're not selling you anything. Like you'll see a lot of people, you see it sponsored by Love Entrepreneurs and you think, oh, what are they going to try to sell me? Listen, this big fix is free. All you have to do is actually reach out to me and say, hey, man, I heard you talk about this big fix. Can I come through and check it out? Absolutely. The answer is always going to be yes. It's never going to be no. It's never going to be, hey, pay me this money and you can get in. You're always going to get an opportunity to be a part of this and to meet some amazing individuals who do want to see you win. Barry Tate says, congrats, Raj. Time for you to expand into the Caribbean. Okay, all right.
I'd love to, Barry. I'd love to. Let's come over to the Caribbean or communicate.
Let's do it.
You get videos from the Love Entrepreneurs Big Fix, and you get a business report, exactly all the advice, all written down for you. It's
That's
up to
awesome.
that individual then. Take action. Take massive action.
Yeah. You can take action and here, like I said, you can take action on your own. Or you can come back because listen, there are people within the fellowship that are in every industry. So let's say, for example, let me give you an example. Let's say, for example, and Raj, you matter of fact, this is a real world example. Let's say, for example, part of what comes out of the big fix is that you need to work on messaging and you need to work on your presence, your online presence, website, and those types of things, right? You can go forth and be great. You can take all those suggestions. You can go do everything yourself or find people to do it. Or you could come back to the group and you have a person like Tony in the group who now comes to Raj and says, hey, Raj, listen, that's what I do. I got you. I can work with you. And here's the thing. There's various ways you can work with people in that group because if they're part of Silvertree, you might be able to say, hey, let's say the website, and I'm just saying this as a round number, for example, let's say the website costs $1,000, right? A Silvertree member may say to you, hey, listen, let's do the website for 50% in silver. So now you're not coming out of your pocket $1,000. You're actually coming out of your pocket half of that and doing the other half in silver. So there's so many opportunities once you get connected into this Love Entrepreneurs fellowship. And let me throw this up again so you can find out more about Love Entrepreneurs. If you look at the bottom of your screen, let me turn this other thing off so you can see that. If you go to love-entrepreneurs.com, you can find out all about what's going on with Love Entrepreneurs. You can follow them on LinkedIn as well so that you know when the big fixes happen. Matter of fact, in about 15 minutes, there is a big fix happening today. So you have an opportunity to go to one on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, and on Thursday. So if you ever want to be a part of that, please let me know. If you want to be in the hot seat because you have a business idea or you want to see your business grow, reach out to us as well, and we can make sure that you are a part of that. So listen, Raj, it has been a phenomenal experience. I could keep you for much longer because this is such an important topic, managing stress. The life of an entrepreneur is a journey, right? But we would be lying if we said there was never any stress on that journey. And sometimes we paint this picture like entrepreneurship is just this sexy experience where you flying on private jets and throwing money in the air and popping champagne bottles and you got clients coming out the woodwork, but it's not, there's stress involved. And we need a Raj to help us manage that. Go ahead.
I'm just thinking that I've got a new landing page. I think you're going to share it with individuals.
Absolutely. I will put it in the comments.
If you want a chance to win a copy of my book, I'm going to be choosing different people each month to copies them up. One of the books is Little Pocket of Confidence, The 10 Golden Steps. I didn't have much confidence growing up. My daughter has done this picture, this painting of the lion. Amazing, isn't it? My daughter Chan has done the lion.
I love that.
And the other book I mentioned earlier, for those who missed out, Coping with Stress and Adversity, the inspirational stories. You may get a chance to win that. You get free information you can download from the website. And individuals who've got children who've gone through bullying. My wife and I, Joyce, have written this book, Penguin and the Bullies. And this is bullies affect children and adults throughout life. And we'll be launching a number of different courses over the next couple of weeks. And so about black belt attitude, dealing with stress, improving your communication skills, confidence building, and samurai sanctuary. Ever thought of ever living a life of a samurai? You don't have to be into martial arts, but you can dress up as a samurai for a weekend, do some meditation, do some mindfulness, do the MEDS, mindfulness, exercise, diet, and sleep. And that's going to be organized. All you have to do is register for interest and subscribe, and we'll tell you where it is, when it is. It's going to be in the UK, in Yorkshire, in the next few months. We may do something online just for people outside the UK. But I mean, it's been amazing to be with you, Oliver.
Man,
I'm here to serve the world, to give stress a karate chop.
Give stress the karate chop. I love it. And what I'm doing right now is I am putting this in the chat so that you can, those of you can check out this landing page. Make sure that you are checking this out. So let's make sure we don't have the sound coming out. All right, let me put this in the chat. So on YouTube, I just put that in the chat for you all who are watching on YouTube. On LinkedIn and Facebook, I just put it in the chat for you all as well. So make sure that you check out Raj. Listen, so let me do this real quick. I want to get some advice from you. And normally it would be some level of advice for entrepreneurs, but I want to make it specific. You talked about some indicators, some things that if these things are happening, you know that stress is building up, right? What would you say if somebody asked you, listen, can you give me the first thing that I should do to begin navigating stress in my life better? What would that thing be?
That thing would be to actually start writing the things that stress you out. Each day,
okay.
What is it that stresses you out today? Is it the traffic? Is it someone at work? Is it because you see a bill that you can't afford to pay? What is it? So recognize that trigger. Then speak to someone, speak to me, speak to others who have skills to deal with it. Because you've already had, the reason it stresses you out is because you've associated anger, irritability with that trigger. So let's figure it out together, how we're going to cope with it. How do we change that in our heads? Make that crisis into an opportunity. Work on your breathing. There's lots of breathing exercises that we can share. And we probably don't have time for today. But a simple exercise you can do is, Oliver, you're going to do this with me?
I'll do it. Let's do it.
Okay. Right. We're going to tense our bodies and we're going to relax it. Okay. So it's going to start tensing your neck, and your shoulders and your arms like this. Squeeze, tight, and your stomach and your thighs and your knees and your feet. Keep squeezing, holding it there. Hold. Squeeze. And let go. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, that you kind of feel a release there, right? Because that tension, you start kind of shaking a little bit, and then you let it all go. It's almost like letting air out of a balloon. Like
it's letting that tension out of your body, the stresses out of your body. And there's lots of exercises we can do, but that simple exercise alone can relax you.
You know what's interesting? It actually forces you to actually breathe some more. Like I had to take additional breaths. Yeah. Interesting.
There's box breathing because we don't utilize our breathing properly. And we tend to, when we've sat down, most of us are sat down for this. There's enough studies that show that if you sit around for 6 to 10 hours a day, that's going to reduce your lifespan. Because there isn't circulation happening. We were designed to walk and get fresh air and do those things. So there's lots of things we can do, but the important thing is to recognize.
Mhm.
Put that aside. Dedicate that time to you and your health. If you don't do it for you, do it for your family. Do it for your friends.
You said something important too. So document what it is. Like, is it like actually write it down? Because we don't often do that. And that's a system that is used in other areas, but you wouldn't think, okay, I need to use that system in stress as well. Like write down, okay, today this thing, write it down, stressed me out. That thing or this person or this situation scenario. So I love that you said that, man. I appreciate that. And it's so crucial that we learn how to navigate this in order to be successful in not only in business life but in our personal lives as well, right? So it's so important.
One thing I'd like to add to that is write this down for people out there. The letter N and O.
Yes.
No. Say
Yes.
no more often. Say no to the demands on your life.
Man.
Say no to all these things that are piling up. Say no to negativity. No to a bad boss. No to the demons out there that are trying to pull you down. Be around good people. And when you turn no on its head, that means you're turned on. You're turned on to more positive things. Or you turn it back to front, NO becomes on. Be turned on because your mindset has changed.
Wow.
You twisted it around. You turned it upside down and you're on a roll. You're going to make it happen. Conquer that stress. Give that stress the karate chop. Then you're on the road to a better life.
Man, awesome. Listen, there's so many great gems that were shared today. I hope that you took them all down. If you didn't, that's fine, because that's just an opportunity for you to go back and watch the replay so that you can get all of this stuff that Raj shared with us today. Raj, thank you so much for this. Listen, man, share all the names of the books and where can we get the books? Like, let us know how we can support you in that way as well.
Indeed. Well, the book Coping with Stress and Adversity, it is featured on Amazon, but you can't actually buy it on Amazon. It's on studio3.org. So I don't know if you can see the back of this book. Let's see, Studio 3 is the company. That's this Professor Andrew MacDonald in the back of this book. He sponsored the book. So studio3.org. There's a shop in there you can go. And Amazon, you can get Penguin and the Bullies. Penguin is Japanese for penguin. And as well as Little Pocket of Confidence, the 10 Golden Steps is also on Amazon. It's got some great reviews. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, or on social media. Make sure you register for the online magazines and newsletters, a chance to download lots of free information to help you in your personal development and opportunity to win a book, and come along to our Samurai Sanctuary or any of the courses that we put on.
That's awesome. And listen, Raj's LinkedIn profile link is in the description of the description notes for wherever you are watching this right now. So if you go to the description, you will see a link to connect with Raj. Make sure you connect with him. Make sure you get registered. There's free resources for you, because listen, on this life of an entrepreneurial journey, there's going to be stresses. Why would you not want to be in contact with somebody who can help you manage those stresses successfully and get you on the path to thriving, no matter what the challenge or crisis is, looking at the opportunity in that and using that opportunity as a catalyst for growth in your personal and professional life. Raj, thank you. My applause aren't working right now, but thank you for that. We appreciate you and your time. I'm going to send you backstage just for a moment. Please don't go, because I want to say a few words to you after we close the show out. But listen, it has been enlightening talking to you, and hopefully more people will understand the gift you are to the business community and will tap in to what you can provide. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. It's been a real pleasure.
Indeed. We'll talk in just a moment. Wow. Now, I knew you were going to get something great out of this. So I could just effectively say, I told you so. And I'm saying that with all love. I'm not saying that in a mean way at all. Shout out to Barry Tate. Great conversation, guys. Thank you, Barry, for being a part of this. Listen, listen, there's so much that came out of this, right? You should be looking for opportunity in crisis. Every crisis presents an opportunity. So you got to change your perspective. You got to be intentional about getting your meds in. And we're not talking about medicine, we're talking about mindfulness. We're talking about exercise. We're talking about diet. We're talking about sleep. Listen, begin to chronicle, begin to categorize, begin to document those things that are stressors in your life. Once you can see it, then and identify it, then it's time to put a plan in place, working with somebody like Raj to do that. And then what we talked about all the way back in the beginning, get in a habit of celebrating. Get in a habit of celebration, celebrating other people's wins, because your win is coming as well. So many things that came out of this experience today. Listen, I am going to have to go back and watch this again. So I urge you to do so as well. This was a great experience. We hope that you got a lot out of this. Shout out to Raj. Raj is a phenomenal human being. This interview is not my first time talking to Raj. I've had a conversation with Raj, and he is just a great guy. So not only will you have somebody who's helping you manage stress, helping you give stress the karate chop, but he is a great guy. That's the total package. So make sure you're reaching out to Raj. You can connect with him through LinkedIn, and that's in the show notes. Now, we got to get out of here, man. This was a phenomenal experience brought to you by Love Entrepreneurs. Love Entrepreneurs is a fellowship of entrepreneurs and business owners with the sole goal of helping ordinary people build extraordinary businesses. They do it through something called the Big Fix. The Big Fix is a phenomenal opportunity for you to get guidance and suggestions around how you can move the needle in your business. If you're interested in that, reach out to me and just say, hey, listen, I just want to be a fly on the wall. How about that? I don't even want to be in the hot seat yet, but I would love to just see what this is all about. Reach out to me and we will make sure that you're a part of that. All right, man. Another great episode. Make sure that you are following us so that you know when we go live. Make sure that you are catching up on the other episodes, because phenomenal individuals have come through this space and have shared things that will allow your journey on this life of an entrepreneur to be successful. I say this all the time. The life of an entrepreneur is a journey, and we want you to enjoy the journey. And being able to manage stress is crucial to you enjoying that journey. Listen, blessings on you. We'll see you next time.